Casper Van Dien, Dina Meyer, and Michael Ironside. Well, welcome to the great state of Texas. How does it feel to be here?
Thank you. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks. Good to see you, Sean.
Always good. I call you a buddy now. Good friend now. We've had some great conversations. I appreciate all that. It's always good seeing familiar faces from online to offline.
There you go.
I do have a confession. I told you this before, Casper, that I was just 8 years old the first time I watched Starship Troopers. Very odd for an 8-year-old to watch that. But I had this British friend, his parents were from England, and just rented a movie for us, not knowing what it was. Went over for a sleepover, and yeah, Swamp, if you're getting, there's a wind right here that's coming through.
It's quite breezy.
It is. Well, we gotta battle the heat that's outside, that's for sure. If you need another jacket, I'm happy to give you mine.
It's frosty in here. Really?
Stay frosty. I think that's what.
But yeah, watching the movie was kind of shocking to me because I became a man the next day, apparently. I woke up a man after watching Starship Troopers. Learned a lot, that is for sure. But when you look back now, did any of you realize making this would be still shaping fandoms and film conversations nearly 3 decades later?
I think we all thought it was going to be a lot bigger than it was at the time. I think we were surprised that it wasn't, that it went over people's heads, some people's heads at the time.
We thought it was going to be a huge success when we were making it. We didn't think it was going to be a huge...
It was everywhere else in the world, just
right.
not in the United States.
Yeah, and when we got to see it at Sony before the premiere, we were just, she and I were sitting next to each other and we're like, oh my God, this is amazing! And we were blown away.
But a lot of films later on will find some amazing success to this day, but even maybe if it was a hit back then, they may not have been talked about now 3 decades later. Probably the opposite probably would have happened. So how does that feel that it's now, continue on, it's been
Well, it obviously feels fantastic.
Yeah,
the fact that it's lasted 28 years and another generation is enjoying it as much as we thought that the original generation was going to be enjoying it. But yeah, it's wonderful that it's withstood the test of time, for sure.
When y'all first were approached or got the scripts, I'm sure y'all two auditioned, but I'm sure, Michael, you were just offered the role directly, right? No audition needed.
Do me a favor. Take your mouth a little farther away from the microphone.
Okay.
That way I can hear you. Because it's sounding just like this.
Darth Vader. There you go.
What did you ask me?
I'm sure you didn't have to audition for this role. You just offered.
I knew Paul from doing Puerto Rico, and I was actually concerned. Yeah, Paul's a great director. I was actually concerned because the book was this huge right-wing manifesto, and knowing that Paul was a survivor of the Second World War. Paul, as a kid, for fun, used to find 88 shells, like Panzer 88 shells in the fields, and as kids, they put their foot on it and hit this shell with a hammer and fire them off. This is the kind of thing he did for fun as a kid, being raised in the Netherlands and stuff. I was concerned because he said to me, yeah, he says, I'm going to make this film. What, you don't trust me? I said, no, I want to know what you're doing with it. You know, and it's slightly fascist. And he said, I'm going to make a perfect world where everyone's beautiful. You know, if you've seen the shower scene, I know what you and everything's gorgeous. He said, and all the architecture is good. He says, but it's only good for killing bugs. And I said, all right, I'm in.
Casper, you talk about the audition process for this, and when you first got the script, what was some words that really you were drawn to immediately when you got it?
Well, the script, I mean, I was already a Paul Verhoeven and Dina Meyer fan. I was a fan of theirs, so when I got the chance to read the script, I was like, oh my God, this is really, I loved it. I thought it was funny and amazing, and I went in and auditioned, and I got to see Ed Newmeyer, the writer, first, and then Paul came out, and he kicked a soccer ball at me, and I kicked it back and forth, and all these other people were sitting there, and then after he got me, kick it harder, just kick it, and I kicked this ball back and forth to him, and then all of a sudden he goes, okay, let's do the audition, and we go in, and at this point in time, I'm feeling bad for all the other actors that were sitting out there, because he only kicked the ball to me. But then I had an audition, and you were already cast at the time, and then I had to test for it because they had a test thing, and it was, Paul had in his contract he had to do a couple of screen tests for it, and he did. He did me and Denise Richards, but nobody else. So I was really screen testing against myself, in other words. Because I asked him, I go, who's the other person I'm testing?
They call that a chemistry test.
Yeah, a chemistry
test. They want to
test.
see your chemistry.
They want to see the
This
chemistry.
is the chemistry that we really want to see, right?
But it was awesome. I loved it, and I was grateful to be a part of it, and a huge fan of theirs, and just in awe of the whole process. It was amazing.
And here's a fun fact for the chemistry. When I first got the material and the audition, they wanted me to read for the part of Carmen originally. And when I was reading the script for the backstory, I just kept finding myself gravitating more to the role of Dizzy. Like I could envision my mouth making Dizzy words.
I think we were all gravitating towards Dizzy.
Well, we all have very good taste. So I had asked, would it be okay if I auditioned for Dizzy instead? I just found myself, more dizzy. I was more dizzy than Carmen, and so when I went into read for Paul, I asked, and he was like, "Oh yeah, okay, sure, you want?" And that was it. And the rest is history. And I wound up getting it. Thank you. Yeah, it was. I thought it was a better part for me.
Dina, what was it like commanding so much presence in a male-dominated sci-fi environment and just kicking butt against everybody?
What was it like?
Yeah.
It was freaking awesome. It was great. That was one of the reasons why I gravitated toward the role so much, because I just felt like, as a woman, she would be so much more fun to play, because she's like, she can hang with the fellas, she can go and have a beer, she can go get a tattoo, she can fight with them, she can, she was the captain of the jump ball team.
In 20 minutes.
In 20 minutes. With this guy.
We can do it.
We gave some change. We gave some change. It wasn't quite 20 minutes. Yeah, exactly. So, that was one of the reasons why I loved the part so much, because, you can be a beautiful girl. It's kind of, I don't know, I just felt Diz had so much substance, and she was so complex. And there was so much to her that I enjoyed, and I loved that I was able to keep up with the fellas and, beat their ass and boot camp a little bit, and, it was great. And they're like, but she dies, but I'm like, I know she dies, but we're rooting for her the whole time. And I just love that. So.
Was there a boot camp training y'all had to go through?
Yes.
And how was that? How vigorous was that, and how long did that last?
It was a few months. We started when we got cast, but there was the intensive training about 2 weeks before we started filming in Casper, Wyoming, with Captain Dale Guy, who's like an ex-Marine and makes all of these Hollywood pansies, she's really tough and strong. And he turned us into the soldiers that Rasczak hoped we would be.
What? I'm not in the shower scene. I tried.
You didn't want to be in that scene?
Paul said, no.
We've been a little weird. It'd be like showering with Dad. Not that I would know what that's like, because obviously that would be weird. But I would imagine it would be something weird. Right? Weird.
Yes.
Paul
Thanks, Dad.
Paul Verhoeven has been famous for being fearless. Which day on set did he challenge you the most, outside of probably that shower scene?
It's an everyday thing with Paul Verhoeven. He shows up first on set and last off, and he's got more energy, and he's just very loud, and he really has a lot of he puts everything into it. Yes, he's the most passionate director, and he's just brilliant. You can see it in everything that he does, and he's always thinking about something. So he's challenging you every day to be bigger and better than anything you thought you could do. And even sometimes if you question him, he's like, just do it, this is the way, this is going to be great. I'm like, yes, sir. Michael's had a longer relationship with him, and you know, we'd also look at him and how he would react with Paul too, for kind of a little guidance.
Guidance. Show us the way, Master.
You want to know.
We want to know all the things.
You know, both of you talk about Paul like he's a madman. He was not. You know, I've done quite a few. I've done quite a few films. To me, I've said this before. A definition of an artist is somebody who gets a concept for something, they put it through a medium and into the audience's mind with the least amount of distortion. And Paul's an artist. There's nothing that ends up on that screen that doesn't get his stamp of approval. He knows exactly what he wants. A lot of that energy that, you know, both of you guys know, that comes as him trying to elicit and trying to support more energy from the actors and stuff. He's a very calm, very, very intellectual, very, very precise director. He's one of maybe 5 artists that I've worked with as director. I won't name the others because the ones I don't name will get pissed off. But there's a few hacks out there, you know. But Paul's not one of them. Paul's an amazing guy. You got to remember when he did this, he meant it as a satire. You know, and it took a long time, and finally, I think the political climate in America now is at a place where you can see the satire and what he was doing and stuff like that. Heinlein, the original writer, actually was a cross-dresser. He liked to write in gowns and dresses and stuff. He was AC/DC as far as sexuality goes. And he was like a little bit right of Genghis Khan when it came to politics, you know. And Paul, being raised in post-war Europe, had a very specific attitude towards that sort of politics. And I don't think I'm speaking for Paul, but I think he did a fabulous job. There's rumors of them doing this over again. They want to do it because of the political climate. They want to do it. The statement is they want to do Starship Troopers per the book, pre the book, you know. And my attitude is why make a fucking film about it? See Paul's and read the book. You know? It's there. Anyway. I'm Canadian, I'm allowed to say this shit.
The designs in the film are amazing, from the uniforms to the gear. How was it, you know, first day wearing your uniform and playing around with the gear? And that helped kind of embody your character more once you got suited up.
I mean, the uniforms were incredible to look at, not very comfortable, and not always the most efficient.
They were fashionable, they weren't functional.
Yeah, I mean, the first time I tried the uniform on, because they had a test for it, they had me do some bends and stretches, and they go, now just do a couple movements, and I went like this, and the pants ripped right over in the middle. Yeah. Luckily, I was wearing underwear. But I was like, they're like, well, that's not going to work.
Yeah, they didn't have any Lycra. There was no stretch at all, and they were like lined with nylon that didn't breathe.
They were made of Kevlar.
Yeah.
You know, and they didn't breathe. At the end of the day, the wardrobe people would literally tilt them up and pour sweat out of them.
Not mine. Mine were fine.
Yours?
She doesn't sweat, okay?
I glow.
She's a lady.
We had close to, what, 300 extras, and they didn't completely...
1,400 extras.
They just Febrezed them. They just Febrezed them. You know, it's Lysol.
They had to disinfect some of the uniforms.
Well, yours after you did.
What did I piss you off or something? You're gonna bite my ass through this whole goddamn panel?
We had that uniform, but we also had I never fucking said a thing about Disney.
They want to say no. They want stories. I'm trying to.
All right, so I wanted to be in the shower scene.
Yeah. Tell them about the time when we pulled you out of the pit with no legs.
What's the weed here? You got a mouse up your ass?
Yes, what happened? What happened if I asked? What?
No, there's actually, we were shooting that pit scene where my character dies. And it was about 105 degrees. It was like high noon. And Paul had for Micah pit, he wanted the sun to reflect. So actually we're in a bit of a concave lens. So that, you know, and I had 8 bras. I don't remember shooting the scene. It's absolutely true. I was in a kind of a half costume with a,
Prosthetic.
A half costume with these. You want to tell the story?
No, the legs. I was helping you. I'm helping
With these mutilated legs and stuff like that, and I'm buried in it. And Dizzy and the trooper there was trying to pull me out. And I couldn't remember the lines. I actually turned to Casper. Casper, I don't remember a damn thing about it. Casper said I turned to him and asked for my line.
Yeah, Michael knew everybody's line in the script. I just want you to know this. He's a very...
I have dyslexia, so I learned everyone's dialogue.
And I have dyslexia too, so it's interesting, but he does know everybody's line. He's a professional. And the first time in my life, he turned to me and looked while he's in this, getting overheated, and he looks and he goes, Casper. And he goes, I don't know what I say. And I say, you know what to do, Rico. And he goes, you know what to do, Rico. And I do that scene, and I shoot him, and then I go, we gotta take him. We gotta take him. He's not here.
Yeah, I got heat prostrate. I passed out. I went to the hospital. If you ever get, they call it sunstroke. Every orifice in your body opens up. If you ever get that, so they had to steam clean my outfit that night. Dizzy actually got hurt right after that. Dina, you also got knee prostrate?
Yeah, no, it wasn't the heat. It was like, because it was such an awkward setup in the pit, in the vermiculite, we couldn't get our footing properly. We were trying to pull Michael out, and we were below the set. So when I yanked him out, like with the force, I wound up like smacking my head on the set. And we were in the hole, so it was like up.
So Michael, they took him to the hospital, and they put the dummy Michael in with the no legs that we literally pulled out. And as we're pulling out, she smacked her head so hard she knocked herself out.
Yeah.
She is a knockout, but then she knocked herself out. So then there was one. So there's the two of them.
And then there was one.
Then there was me left, and they're like, "What do we do now?" And I'm like, "Whatever you want. I have no idea, but it's not looking good."
No. It was a physically draining and grueling shoot for sure. I mean, Casper, when we were shooting Fandaco, and when he got pinched by in the leg, he had like a flu or was like throwing up between takes. Like literally, they were bringing him a bucket because he was like, right?
All night long, I threw up into a bucket. They go, "Okay, you ready?" Yeah. Cut. Bring him a bucket. Yeah. And then, can you do another one? Yes, sir. So I did it until the sun was rising, and then Paul goes, "Can you do one more?" And I go, "Yeah, yes, sir, yes, sir." And I threw up again, and he goes, "Take him to the hospital." And that's a wrap.
I ended up they put me on an IV overnight, and then unplugged me in the morning when we went back to work. It was one of those shoots. It was.
You were troopers.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, I did it. I got a million of them.
I got a couple of whatever.
There's a lot of goo, a lot of bugs. What was the weirdest? Splooge.
That's just Offset.
What was the weirdest thing you had to act against? Because there's a lot of things you don't see what you're acting against. So what did they put in place of some of the bugs?
Oh, we were the mobile infantry. We didn't get anything. The fleet, they got blue screens and green screens, but we got
Paul and tennis balls on sticks.
Tennis ball and stick, and then they move them out. And they go, "Now aim over there and shoot."
Get closer.
The film actually holds a record for the most money spent on ammunition to this day. I think we spent close to $1.4 million just on ammunition on that film.
Because Rock Pilati came to us. He's also a Marine. He was our weapons guy. He came to me. He goes, Casper. We're in 2 months and 1 week to this movie. He goes, we just broke the world's record for the most ammunition fired on a film. And we went for 6.5 months straight, and then 2 weeks of pickup shots. But we broke it at 2 months and 1 week. We got the record. We're still in the Guinness Book of Records for the most amount of. So we had 30 actors firing, 30 stunt guys firing, and then we had the Rock on the big gun. He had to melt. He was like, we were melting that. We had to tell Paul we couldn't shoot because they were just going so hard on those on the big guns, on the turrets, that they were. I don't know any of you are Marines or weapons guys out there, but they were just firing them so long, so hard that they were melting them.
Yeah, they were M16s cut down with a futuristic stock put on them, and Paul wanted a big flame out of the front, so they were overloads. They were overload shells and stuff like that. And some of us got burned, you know, because we get in a line of fire and the flame would come out and stuff like that. But
it was coming out like what? Like coming like a foot on the side and like 2 feet in the front?
It was coming out of the sides and everything, and Paul just loved it.
Yeah, get closer, and you were sure that you were getting.
We had to line up staggered so we wouldn't get burned and stuff like that.
But we
a few
still
of us got
there.
shot.
Yeah. Some.
I won't point out who shot me in the face, but
Shot him right in the face.
What a woman to get shot in the face by.
He deserved it.
I got 2 days off because I was all blistered.
See, I did you a favor. But he didn't break.
But also, the shells were...
The argument was I may have been off my mark.
Well, that's what happens.
That's right, the veteran of 320 films was off my mark.
It happens to
I'm not
us.
pointing the finger or anything.
I don't even remember it.
No, it was like, it was absolutely kind of controlled havoc a lot of times on scene. Paul would start a scene right after we unloaded about 3 clips and everyone's basically deaf after, you know, you fire 50 rounds, you know, 50 calibers right beside your head. And then Paul go, we do another take, okay. And people couldn't hear the directions, and there was a lot of misdirection and stuff.
Well, not only that, we did have ear protection in also. So like, we couldn't really hear anybody.
Ear protection?
Not all the time. Sometimes they would go and you lost it, and then these helmets would just like, it would echo and reverberate in there, and you wouldn't have your ear protection in. And I am part deaf now because of that. I have a harder time hearing, and also usually it's the women's voices that are harder to hear.
Well, that's
My wife goes, nice try.
selective hearing.
What?
What? Sorry, I didn't hear you. I'm deaf from Starship Troopers.
Then you'd be doing a take and Jake Busey in the middle of it run out of ammunition. You go, I'm out of ammunition, and walk off camera. So we'd have to shoot the goddamn thing again. Say, Jake, act when you run out of ammunition. Act.
We have fake bugs.
It's not here so we can shit on him.
Who was the troublemaker on
He's
set?
a nice guy. He's a real professional. I care for him dearly.
Everybody needs a friend like him. He just asked who the troublemaker was, and you know the funny thing about that is troublemaker was Paul Verhoeven. So he's also the incredible guy, but he's also like, but I think he's just doing that to get, you know, you to be full energy and really into it and get exactly what he wants. So he would do whatever it took to do that. He was one of the loudest directors I've ever worked with, but he also was one of the most professional and most, you know, you could just watch him, just see he's always thinking of something, scheming something. So I think, you know, troublemaker, but also just because he was trying to get the best film possible, but not really troublemaker, I guess, but just in some ways I think
I'll tell you
he just
something
stir things up.
Something about Paul. At one point, I think we were shooting in Utah or somewhere. Where was the fort? Was that Utah?
Casper, Wyoming.
That was in Wyoming.
Yeah, that was in Hills Half Acre, yeah.
You just-
Wyoming. Casper, Wyoming.
Yeah, Casper. Wyoming. Say it again, Casper.
Casper, Wyoming.
Casper Fire Department.
Casper Hilton Hotel, Casper Planetarium, Casper's Family Liquor. What?
And the two studios that were, the film was fairly expensive at that time, so they split the cost between 2 studios, and they flew all the executives up in one big two executive jets, right? And they all came on set. Now Paul's not somebody you do that to. So they came to Paul and said, all the Disney and the, I think it's Columbia?
Disney and something Columbia, yeah.
Yeah, in Columbia, Sony, were coming up, and Paul went, oh yeah, he said, you all take a break. And he took all the body parts and laid them all around the fort, and when they showed up with all their chairs and everything like that, for 2 hours, all he did was shoot body parts and blood. And one of the execs came up to him and said, like, why are you doing that? And he said, why are you here? And they quickly got back on their aircraft and left. And that's the kind of person Paul was. I mean, he's very much in charge of what he's doing. He knows what he wants. And at one point, some guy said to me, well, that's an awful lot of blood. And I said, what? And one of the executives, I was standing by the ramp, I said, mention that to Paul. And the guy went over and said, why is there so much blood? And Paul said, what the fuck do you know about war? And the guy turned around and literally turned red-faced and walked away. Paul, if you ever see this, I don't know if I was supposed to say that in public. Don't hold it against me. He's a minor executive at Disney. I don't think he counted.
Did y'all take anything home from set? Any of you, like your helmets or maybe some ammunition shells, just a keepsake or anything, or were they strict on?
They really didn't want you to take it. I mean, well, they told me I could. First of all, let me just preface it with, I died halfway into the film, or like 3/4 or whatever. So they were still shooting an extra month after. So when shooting was done, people might have been able to take more things, but since they still had like 5 or 6 weeks left of shooting after I was gone, I was able to take my sweats from basic training, my dog tags, my chair back. I mean, I think Denise got her whole chair. Did you get your whole chair?
I took my whole chair.
The whole chair. Yeah,
But,
it was done. Yeah.
Jade tells us that he just walked off set in his whole uniform with everything and just
I just
got in
met-
his truck and left. And I was like, man, that's smart.
Yeah, well, he was able to sell it recently. Someone just told me they bought that uniform.
Wow.
He just sold
That's
it.
really smart.
Seriously, I met somebody and he was like, oh yeah, I just bought Jake's original.
I've had people come up and go, hey, this is your uniform. And I'm like, well, I had 7 of those, 7 of the bloody ones, 7 of the semi-bloody ones, because we had different
No,
ones.
but I saw, like, Jake was on Instagram
selling
selling it. Yeah, so I was like, I saw it. I think it's real. I think it's
All right, who bought it?
who bought it?
Who's wearing it now? With such a young cast, what were y'all doing? While spending time together between scenes or after shooting? What were y'all doing? Is there like a true friendship growing now, or did that friendship come later on in life?
I think we have friendships then and now, and I think we've just grown even closer together. We spend so much time together now, and it's so sweet because I just lost my father, and I got messages. Dina called me, to tell me that. It was so sweet, and Denise messaged me, and then Michael just gave me a big hug, and we've all been such a family for such a long time. It's just, it's wonderful to have that. And we have that only because of how much you guys love the movie, because Michael's done, I don't know how many films and been in how many projects, and Dina's been in so many, and I've been in so many, over 200. We got all these projects we've been in, and this is the main one that I do these things for, that I think we do these ones. There's other ones too, but this is the main one for me. And it's just, it's a nice family thing. It just feels like it keeps growing.
Oh yeah, because we feels like we kind of grew up together. We were so young when we. Well,
Yeah, I was so young.
Starting out. This is our dad.
I was
This is our
virginal.
dad.
You're still young, Michael. You're still young.
Michael had like 100 films under his belt before we even worked with him. Now he's got like 600 because he's a. Say it. Tell him what you are. You're a whore.
It doesn't mean I'm bad in bed.
No, on the contrary, it makes you very good.
Just because you take money, you can give a good lay. And I do get to say no to the really ugly ones. I'm talking about scripts. I'm married 42 years. Karen, are you here? I never
Just saw her leaving. You might be in trouble.
Can we talk about how great Michael is? Every role he's in is fantastic. I'm gonna put y'all two on the spot. Talk about what does Michael bring to a film that you're a part of? Because he brings so much experience, and just his presence, on screen is amazing in everything and anything. What does it mean to have someone like him part of a film like that, or any film that he's a part of is amazing?
I agree.
Michael in Starship Troopers, we go, Casper, come here. And he would give me advice, and he would just give me his words of wisdom. You can look at somebody like that, and you see the kind of career that they've had, and the amount of amazing things they've been. It's always impressive, but also you can see his professionalism on set, and the way he is. So it's a way, especially when he takes it serious, and he really wants to make the project better all the time. So that's why you want to be around other actors, people who are professional, because you want the whole project to be incredible. You want to keep making it better, and when everybody's doing that collective creativeness, it's infectious. And he's just got that presence. You all see it when you watch a film. You see his presence, And you know, he's like, Rico, you know what to do. He was like, even when he couldn't remember what was my line, as soon as I said it to him, because even though he was out of it, he wasn't there, he still went right into it, and when he goes, Rico, you know what to do. Right after I said that, I just said, Rico, you know what to do. And he did it, and then it's the best line.
Casper. My ass is starting to flare.
We might have another incident where we have to take him to the hospital and clean out his whole uniform.
Talked previously about continuing, Rico's legacy in video game format in other ways. How does it mean to have Rico still around and having that fun stuff out there for people to keep playing? That VR game was awesome, and that was fun to play.
The VR game was cool, and the 16-person shooter is great.
Yeah.
It's always fun to see that. When I saw Starship Troopers, I thought, I was gaming a lot back then, and I thought it would be a great video game. They're like, no, we make movies, not video games. And then Halo came out, and I was like, hey! And then, here's where I'm like, hey, these are all like Starship Troopers. And then there's all these games that are like it, and then when they finally started making them, like they are now, like the one Starship Troopers Extermination, and that continuing there, it's so much. Helldivers 2 is like it, but Starship Troopers Extermination is Starship Troopers, and it's just fun, and it's fun to kill bugs with all you guys. So anybody wants to come play, I play online all the time. I'm not kidding. I'm crazy though, I love it.
You're a pro at it.
I don't know if I'm a pro, but I kill bugs real good.
Does the audience get to ask questions?
Does the audience get to ask questions?
Does the audience get to ask questions?
Want to go through and pick some? I'm picking some. Want to go through them? Yeah.
Oh, here we are.
These are the audience questions. We're reading them.
You want to pick some?
Oh, they're not asking them. These are
They're going to them. Yeah.
Well, you can ask them.
Okay, all right, yeah.
I didn't bring my glasses.
Oh, here's a fun one. I'm going to kind of tweak a little bit from Rachel. Would you be interested in doing or seeing a Starship Troopers musical?
Yes! Yes!
I mean, how has it not been done already?
It's springtime for
No,
rough days.
we're gonna shoot them dead, 'cause they're so tasty. And we're gonna eat them up.
Come on now, don't be a
Yum,
smarty.
yum,
Help us kill a little bug. Nah, who the fuck wants to see a musical?
We have a question for you, Michael, from Katrina, asking, do you prefer to play a good guy or the villain?
I prefer a good script.
And this one's from Laura. She says, this movie seems like it was a blast to film. Any funny behind-the-scenes stories with the cast you can share that you haven't maybe shared previously?
We shared them all.
We shared them all. The pooping himself and knocking herself out, that was the funniest day.
Talk about the shower scene penis.
Oh, the shower.
There was another question about that scene if someone wants to follow up.
It's a fake penis. The fake one, not the real ones. The real ones weren't as funny as the fake ones. Now you have to tell the story. You're welcome.
Jake's not here.
Yeah, let's shit on Jake.
But Jake comes into my trailer just before we're supposed to shoot this 14-hour day in the shower. And he goes, Casper. And we're both like, I'm like, what, dude? I'm like naked, getting my towel on to go in there. And I'm like, what? He's like, put this on. And he handed me a strap-on. A huge, like, past your knee strap-on. And I'm like, all right. And then Dina proceeded, like Paul Verhoeven came in, we're gonna shoot the shower scene. We're all like a little nervous, we're all like, we're gonna all be naked together. I've never seen any of them naked. And I didn't want to see any of these dudes naked, personally. And and Tina's there. I hadn't seen her naked. And
None of us had seen anybody naked.
yeah, we hadn't seen it.
How
So
did Paul react?
Paul goes, you guys are so nervous. Why are you so shy? Are you
What's the big deal?
rude? And Tina goes, oh yeah, she goes, oh my
Yeah,
God.
I was like, he goes, what's the big deal? What's the big deal? I said, well, if it's not such a big deal, Big Shaw, let's see you take your, you're standing there with your clothes, you're fully clothed behind the camera. Let's see you take your clothes off.
So he goes, And Yost goes, and he goes, Yost? And he goes, that's our DP. And I go, oh God, no! God, no! And he goes, okay, you guys ready to shoot? Yes, please just put the pants on. And they left, and I go, oh my God, Dina. She goes, I didn't know he was gonna do that.
Yost Stefano was difficult to look at even with his clothes on. All drooping.
I never wanted to have to be the man to say that I never wanted to have to see that. But I never wanted to have to see that, and now I'll have that
Now
image.
you can't unsee it.
Yes,
The
thanks.
funny thing was that Seth was standing over in the corner laughing at them all. He didn't have to wear a prosthetic.
And the funny thing about that is, how do you do that joke after that's already happened? It kind of like really knocked the wind out of the sails. Kind of, you know, it's like, oh yeah, well we were gonna do this dildo thing, but whatever now. Thanks, Dina.
But they did it anyway.
Next question. Stop dicking around.
Was that the scene that had the most like amusing outtakes?
What?
Was that the one that had the most amusing outtakes, or was there another scene that had some crazy outtakes that were pretty memorable?
I didn't know that outtakes. I didn't see the blooper reel.
I didn't see the
Did you
blooper
even
reel.
have one?
I've seen a couple of the blooper reels. I mean, the only blooper reels I had is like when Patrick Muldoon had picked me up so much in our fight sequence, and he dropped me on my head one time. He goes, oh my God, I'm so sorry, Casper, I'm so sorry. But he had kept lifting me up as we're jumping over and throwing me on the table. And then one time he's like, he goes, I'm not gonna drop Casper again on his head. And he missed, and I landed on the apple box on my back. That hurt. Those were outtakes. Or those were ouch takes. Sorry, you said outtakes.
Kevin asks, what character from another movie or show would your Starship Troopers character like to party with? Or maybe a crossover? What crossover would you like to see with Starship Troopers?
What character that you play that wasn't Starship would Rasczak want to party with?
Or, yeah, party with.
Or a Starship Troopers crossover with another franchise. What would you like to see?
That requires a little bit more thought.
Maybe Clancy Brown.
Oh, yeah, party with Clancy Brown? Well, he was in it with us.
Clancy's all right.
Oh, I thought you meant like a character that we've played in other...
You could go that way. It's a question you go in different directions. A lot of directions for that question.
You know, our uniforms were also used in Firefly, Serenity. So I think that'd be a good crossover to be in that with Nathan Fillion and all them. I
With
think
them
that'd be
wearing the
pretty
same outfits?
cool. No, we were.
Where did you go shopping?
Yeah, we could just be in there and be like that was in the same universe.
You have to go after them for stealing your uniforms, hunt them down.
No, they didn't wear the uniform, but their Federation, that's what they were fighting against.
Lastly, we'll end on this note for this amazing panel. If you had one word to describe what this movie means to you personally, what would it be?
If you had one word to describe what this movie means to you personally, what would that be?
One.
If you need a couple more, I'll give it to you.
I'll just say gratitude. I mean, it gave me my whole career. So thanks.
Absolutely.
Give me all of you guys coming here still 20 years later.
You guys still want to hear about it. So, yes, absolutely.
You know, we could have been in 28 years later. We could have been there with our Marita rifles, blowing all them zombies to hell. I could have done that. I could have killed them all.
That would be the crossover. Yeah.
No, but we are so grateful they all came and to talk Starship Troopers. We're excited. I know we have a bunch of fans out here. Let's thank them for coming.
Thank you so much.